So if you're going to use kettlebells, use them for what makes them unique. So most people just pick them up and do some farmer walks, but you can do that with anything. You can do that with a freaking power washer or a tent. And yes, I just looked around the room to find a power washer, a tent. There's probably a few other non-fitness things that I can farmer walk. Anyway, the video is about swings. Here are 3 different variations that I like, going from most beginner friendly to a little bit more intermediate, and then to something that's far more advanced. And I utilize all these, depending on the weight that you use, you're gonna build some power, some strength, or if you go a little bit lighter and incorporate them into like a conditioning circuit, you're gonna build some mad endurance. So let's give these a go. So starting from the simplest, we're gonna go with a Deadstop swing. I really like the Deadstop position, whatever you want to call it, because you're literally stopping the momentum each and every time. So rather than just continuing to swing, you're going to bring the bell out in front of you just so far that when you pull it back, you're not going to fall backwards and you're not overly leaning forward. So you're going to hike the bell back, you're going to hike, stand up tall, hike, bring it back to the ground. That's where you reset. So you can make this a really power-driven exercise, going heavy, focusing on that really explosive pull, pausing for a second and then repeating, or you can go some repeat effort and turn this into a little bit more conditioning where you're not only hitting that backside, you're also hitting some quads because you got to get a little bit lower. Next one's going to be a one-arm swing, but we're going to go from a staggered position. So all the staggered position means is instead of having my feet equally distant to each other, I'm going to slide one foot back so my toe is kind of in line with my heel, and I can play around with that position, but ultimately this is what the staggered position is. So I'm focusing on one side. So let's just say I'm focusing on my right side, hold the bell with the left arm. I'm going to pull my shoulder back, I'm going to hike, and I'm going to swing, and I'm going to stay pretty linear here. I'm not going to rotate too much, but a little shift is okay. So the focus is on the fully planted leg and the arm that's holding the bell, obviously. So I'm trying to create as much core tension as I can as I'm driving through that fully planted foot. So last one, it's going to be the most complex. It's going to be an alternating staggered swing. So just that same as the last one, where I'm going to stagger that position, holding the bell with my left hand, planting with my right. I'm going to drive right before that float. I'm going to switch not only my hands, but I'm also going to switch my feet. So as I get into position, I want to still maintain that same level of tension, same mechanics in that I'm driving through the ground on that planted foot. But again, right before that weight is weightless, that's when I'm going to switch. So again, we're getting some hand-eye coordination. Now we're also incorporating lower body into this as I'm changing my foot position each time. So I'm focusing on driving through the ground with that fully planted foot. Great for some core, great for some grip, great for some backside, and just a really fun one to add into your conditioning workouts. So as always, my goal is to show you what's possible with the kettlebell so that way you can find the exercises, the movements, the workouts that best align with your goals so that you get the best results and that you don't jack yourself up in the process. So if you like kettlebells as much as I do, check out this next video, and for full programs that are just going to have you dive headfirst into kettlebell training, check out the link in my bio.